I've got a new device to control the curtains. The problem is, I'm really running out of windows right now. Hey guys, remember these? These are switchboards for curtains, and I've got something else today. I've got Zemismart equivalent of that with Bluetooth and ZigBee 3.0 support. There's also RF433, but well, we're gonna get to that. Automating daylight is one of the most fun things to do after automating your lights because, well, essentially you are automating the amount of light coming in to your house. So essentially it's just like controlling a smart bulb, right? And you can do it in so many ways. We already talked about controlling blinds and verticals in the past, whether using a smart chain controllers or whether using a built-in motors or whether using a Rails systems to do it for you. If this looks familiar, well, it's because it is. Previously I already talked about a Agara chain controller, which is coincidentally right now mounted in my office, so we'll have to remove that to, well, test this out. No way I'm drilling another hole. Call me evil, but that will do. So these are Zemismart chain link drivers, but there is something clever about it, at least from the design perspective and from the perspective of Zemismart, because, well, they didn't have to really go that far to design a chain link controller and the curtain puller or curtain robot. All they had to do to transform one device into another is to add that module attachment and voila! So today we're going to talk about these. As this is the first time I've actually got one of these devices in my hands, even though previously I did cover a lot of Zemismart devices, your hint to check that video out. Let's put it on a wall, attach the chain link and drive some curtains. Inside the box, apart from the mounting bracket, which coincidentally I like a little bit more than Agara ones because it'll let you control the height of the chain link controller up to 2 inches, not like Agara. Agara is just like you have to be spot on with installation, no mistakes there. Clearly they didn't have me as a customer. You'll find also a charging cable, extension cable, just in case the charging cable isn't long enough, and 3 extra wheels on top of whatever is attached to the driver itself to match any different chain link types. There is also a cheap remote control that works with 433 MHz, and you probably know how to use it. It uses 2 AAA batteries, and it's for all those occasions when you don't really want to use smart automation, meaning never. Come on, it's smart automation time. But what's so interesting and special about this is that actually you can use either Bluetooth or ZigBee hub to connect to these, which means I can actually use one of the hubs that I covered earlier on, a couple of months ago, from Smart. You can watch that video here. It uses Tuya and it connects straight away, there was no problem in there, and once paired, well, the instructions were actually quite helpful for the first time. They well maintained, apart from one little detail, which is the power switch at the bottom. If you take a look, you'll find a small dip switch, and if you set it to a left position, that means power on. They should mention that in the manual, but the rest of it is very clearly explained, which I appreciate a lot. What I don't appreciate is the fact that we have a micro USB again. Come on guys, what happened to USB Type-C? Everyone's always doing so great, and suddenly yet another device with micro USB. I know, you're probably gonna be sick of that rant very soon. So after the initial setup and setting up the limits, which was very easy, just following instructions, I was ready to drive some curtains, and since I already have the Agara driver next to me, I was able to compare both together. Turns out that the Agara driver is slightly quieter, but they perform very closely in terms of speed. speed. Now I have no doubts there is plenty of torque to lift even bigger rollers, so you don't have to worry about that. But, well, I wish they had the driver that was slightly quieter. The last thing I should probably mention the battery. Obviously I can't testify for it because I only had it for a week or two before writing this review, but Zemismart advertises up to 5 months of use. Now this will strongly depend on your use cases, how often you drag your blinds up and down, how big are your blinds and how long it takes to fully open and close these. Which means if that 3000 mAh battery inside lasts more than 3 months, I'm gonna be very happy. Now that we know everything there is about this chain-link controller, let's take a look at the version that is designed to pull your curtains. And I have to tip my hat to Zemismart for clever from their standpoint design, which basically utilizes exactly the same driver with additional module that translate that wheel puller into a extra, I don't know, rubber wheel that is used to drag along the unit or along the rail and pull the curtain with it. And just like the previous one, it comes with a similar attachment, so you can either connect it via ZigBee or Bluetooth or included cheapo RF 433 MHz remote control. Also you'll find the charging cable, extension, and if you opted out for a special kit you can get a nice solar panel to keep the unit charged up. Unfortunately that solar panel doesn't really have any mount, so you'll have to figure out something. The one that is supplied with switchboard is, well, a little bit better because you can mount it to a switchboard and it kind of stays in place. I wish they did something in that design. Now, apart from that, you also have those different attachments for different style of your curtain fittings. So you can use a rod attachment up to 30 millimeters, and you can use like I-beams and other fittings. Check the manual for reference. Now, I only have curtain rods to try, so I was trying that curtain rod. And I have some design suggestions. Well, fitting this on the rod and applying enough pressure to make the unit drive left or right, it's possible. It's nowhere near as simple as on the switchboard, where all I had to do is just hook it, clamp it, and forget it. Granted, you only have to do it once, but what annoys me is the fact that you have to first play about with that small finicky security pin and then stretch your arms and try to wrap around the roller and then pull the pin out, and it's a story. But once it's over, then it sits in place. That comes with a warning, because those things work only on rods that are not telescopic. And as my luck has it, I only have one rod that isn't telescopic. So if you have a rod that has 2 different diameters, well, you'll have to have one of these robots for each diameter, because as soon as the diameter changes, the robot will lose the friction. And to be fair, that applies to switchboard as well. So providing your rod is a one-piece rod, or your joining moment or telescopic moment is right in the middle, you'll be just fine. Now in terms of pulling the curtains, I've tested with my light curtains, and both switchboards were slightly a little bit faster, but they both were at the same noise level. And then I promptly switched to heavy-duty curtains, which I've got downstairs, and to my surprise, both robots were performing quite well. As the chain-link controller and the curtain puller support Tuya, you'll have the support for the usual smarts, so you can integrate with Alexa ecosystem, or you can do it with a Google Home. That's up to you. The Tuya app is fully supported and nicely developed. Now it is ZigBee 3.0, so you can experiment with custom coordinators. If I have a time, I'm probably gonna do it with Node-RED sometime later, but that's gonna be down to you. You will have to have some sort of hub, whether it's a ZigBee hub or Bluetooth hub, to get that supported. And while I was playing with the app, I also discovered that these are not the same units, even though they look identical. Now, this one in fact is recognized as a chain link puller, and the menu is available where your blinds are, well, slidable up and down. Slidable, is that a word? And this one is recognizable as a curtain puller, and to move the blinds or curtains you'll have to slide from side to side, and to my knowledge there is no way of changing this. Means that the ZigBee IC is programmed to be, I don't know, to have one ID for each device. Now I don't know why you cannot really change this, which is slightly annoying, especially if you have like kind of like verticals that kind of open this way and you want to use a chain link controller, but I hope that's going to change in the future. Let's talk about pricing, because this is where it gets really interesting. Both of those devices are available for $68 to $70, and yes, they undercutting SwitchBot, which, well, it's fair play. If you're looking for something on a budget and you're looking for ZigBee connected devices, then, well, you could get one of these. And this is where I'm in a pickle, because these are budget options and they are ZigBee, but they're not very quiet. And to drive your usual curtain fitting, you're gonna need two of those curtain bad boys. Which means that's gonna raise the price to the level of one of those really nice and quiet and smooth ZigBee motorized curtain sliders or curtain draggers or curtain rails that Zemismart is famous for. I have two of these, one's pending review, which I'm going to do it at some point. But yeah, this is a difficult recommendation, knowing that for the price of two of these, you could get a really nice quiet experience, even ZigBee experience, providing you don't mind wiring to the mains. So Zemismart, while I do appreciate what you were trying to do it here, I think for people that are able to actually fit the motorized curtains, I would strongly recommend to check Zemismart series on that instead. But if you can't make any modifications and you're looking for something ZigBee that you can integrate with your own home automation, then this is certainly an option, as long as you remember that the noise levels aren't the greatest. So if you are interested, I'm gonna link them down below in the description, where you can find the links to these models I have on hand and the curtains that I also reviewed in the past. So hopefully that'll give you with enough selection so you could make your own decision. As for now, big thanks to Zemismart for sending me this so I could talk about them. And if you want to know more about what you can do with it, then stay tuned. Sooner or later I'm probably gonna be integrating them with Node-RED, so we're gonna find out more about it. As for now, you know how YouTube works. I do not have a posting schedule, so use the YouTube tools provided to get in touch, stay in touch, or just follow me. But also use the social media, because YouTube is really bad at handling links. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I've got for today. So thanks so much for watching, and see you next time. Take care. Bye.